What up, Depth Chart? It's your boy, Young Broadcaster, here on the set of the 2 Point Perspective with my co-host, Miles on the mic, Miles Sweeney. Hey, Miles, how you doing today, dog?
I am doing good. I had quite the weekend at my, not mine, but a bachelor party.
You're not getting married?
No,
Okay,
unfortunately.
we had to clarify that for a second.
I don't think I am.
It can be confusing.
I might have lost the ring, but it was fun, yeah.
Hate when that happens.
But I'm back, and we're all business today because we got some good stuff to talk about.
Yes, sir, we do, man. A lot has been happening around the NFL and college football today. We're going to dabble a little bit into the college world. But just to kick it off, man, we're going to talk about my boy Micah Parsons and the Packers. I made a prediction a couple weeks ago. I said the Packers were going to the Super Bowl. I have to stay true to my Niners roots, and if they go, I'm going to root for them. But if the Niners are not playing, I'm going to be rooting for the Packers this season.
Really?
Dude, I made the call, so now I got to stick with it. I got to stay loyal to the call.
True.
I think the Micah trade is huge for me in my prediction, so I that just boosts my odds, so that's kind of cool.
It's still holding strong, for sure. I mean, that boosted the likelihood a lot.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Vegas is liking my odds a lot better now, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, so hopefully that epidural will help our guy.
Yeah, man. I didn't know this until just recently, but I guess his back is hurting him. They're talking about giving him an epidural right before the start of the game. If you guys don't know, Micah Parsons got traded from the Cowboys for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. Now, Miles, I want to ask you, do you think that is a fair trade? Do you think that that the Cowboys got enough for Micah Parsons?
I think they met the first round quota. It was going to be at least 2 first round picks
minimum. Yeah,
but yeah, I think you could have thrown in another day 2, day 3 pick in there on top of Kenny Clark.
Maybe like a 3rd rounder or something.
Yeah, well, because now it's like you see that trade, and there are teams across the league who are like, or particularly fan bases who are like, why didn't we do that?
Right.
That wasn't too much. I mean, but you do have to consider that you're trading that capital and then you're paying him. You're making the highest paid player in the league.
Right. That's true. So you also have to have the salary cap to fit the bill.
Yeah,
so
but I think it was Cowboys fans obviously aren't happy, but if you get 2 first round picks, even the inept Jerry Jones knew to say that we could turn those guys into Pro Bowlers. Could.
Right.
It's not guaranteed. But if you can get 2 guys,
in the words of Jerry Jones.
Yeah, if you can get 2 guys who can even break the surface of what Micah could do.
And who knows where this back injury is going to go?
Right.
Who knows what direction that's going to take? I mean, once you start talking about an epidural, I mean, Matthew Stafford is still not looking too good. So
no, I mean, Micah has the benefit of being younger.
Totally.
So we'll just have to wait and see. But that was pretty groundbreaking news.
Totally.
For the league.
Yep. And for us here on the 2 Point Perspective. So.
Yeah, we get to cover that. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. So we're going to dabble a little bit in college today, which is not something you're going to see us do a lot, but it was the first week of college football. We didn't have any NFL games, so we want to give the college guys their due. And Miles, you want to kick us off with that?
Yeah. So talk of the town in the CFB is Arch Manning. And I remember you predicted that last week the Saints gonna get the first pick. They're gonna take Arch Manning. I don't know if that's gonna fare well after this. He's gonna get better.
Well, I'm still kind of confident that the Saints are gonna get that pick.
Oh, they'll get that pick.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I think it's faring in my favor of him staying another year if he's still having to figure it out. I didn't even bother writing down the stats. It was a hard watch. I knew like he threw a pick. He might have been hovering around 50% completion rating. But
it was a low scoring game.
14-7. Yeah, that was a defensive game for sure. But it's just not what you really wanted to see, nor what you expected to see out of the guy with professional DNA in his blood.
Well, and I think it was so overhyped too. I think the media is a little bit to blame, as well, just because they're hyping this guy up so much. He's got so much pressure on his back, and I think there's still a lot of potential there for him to have a great career.
It's one game.
Yeah, first game out as the starter, and
you're playing Ohio State.
Yeah, totally, and they're the number 1 team in the country. So, another game that was pretty interesting this weekend, and I know a lot of people were pretty happy about, was Bama and Florida State. Man, Florida State just took it to Alabama, and that was fun to see, man. It's sad that I wish it was a Nick Saban team.
That would have been,
that would have been cherry on top for sure. But I was happy to see Bama lose. I can't stand them.
No, I can't either. It's so nice seeing their downfall. And just what do you remember what seed they were? Are they were the 8th seed
last season?
This season were in their rankings.
Oh, I don't remember. I'd have to look.
I know that they were one of the 3 upsets for the top 25. But yeah, that's just gross seeing them that high, but it's delightful watching him lose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I love the downfall of Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, roll Tide, baby. Roll those L's. I'm glad he didn't say Penn State and Nevada. That was yikes.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what though? The thing about Penn State and Nevada though, nobody expected anything out of Nevada. You know what I mean? You're talking about the number 2 ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
And there was no expectation for Nevada to win that game or even come close. No. And honestly, I thought that they held up better than what I and probably a lot of other people thought they were going to. So
yeah, that first drive was looking pretty nice.
Well, speaking of losers, since we talked about so many losers, I think it's time for our biggest winners and losers. All right, Miles, biggest winners and losers. Kick us off.
Yeah, 4th week in a row where I got the loser.
And you want the losers every week.
Yeah,
I love that you're bringing it. I love that I get to talk about the positive stuff.
Yeah, so. It's fun to wallow in other people's misery. So, and the misery we're wallowing in today is Bill Belichick's. Man, what a showing!
I also love wallowing in Bill Belichick's misery.
Yeah, dude, that was so bad. I mean, to get 47 dropped on you, and I saw that was the most points ever given up by a Bill Belichick coach team. So that in and of itself is just beautiful. I've never really...
There's some kind of justice there.
There is, yeah. And I mean, I've always really disliked Bill Belichick. I will never take away his credit of being one of, if not the best coach in NFL history. But when him and Brady were that tandem, I couldn't stand them both. And then Brady leaves. I like Brady more, but that Bill Belichick dislike, it always stuck. And I made sure to celebrate and laugh my ass off when I saw that final score, because it's just so UNC was being so hyped up because of that. And, let's pull them back down to reality here. So,
well, I think it's a little bit of the same situation that we were looking at with Colorado, right? Obviously, Deion was able to elevate them a little bit, but people were blowing that way out of proportion. I mean, it was never going to be like that. Speaking of Tom Brady and liking Tom Brady, I hated Tom Brady for a really, really long time. I mean,
a lot of us
I
did.
couldn't stand him, right? And if you're a longtime fan of the NFL and you're not a Patriots fan, you probably also hated Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
But I'm with you, man. I like him so much more now that he's retired, And I know a lot of people really don't like him as a broadcaster, but if you listen to Tom Brady, just speak technically, it's so impressive, actually, just to hear some of the things that he says and how he talks about how he would treat his teammates or the specific things that he would do. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to celebrate a touchdown with his offensive lineman. You know what I mean? If he sees a guy that's doing a lot of routes on the outside, he's going to reward that guy with a big touchdown.
Yeah.
He's going to make sure that he's getting that guy the ball, as opposed to these slot receivers that are easier to get the ball to. And the reason for that is because these guys on the outside are working so hard, and that's not something that I had ever thought about until I had heard him say that. And so you hear him say a lot of things and just speak about football in such a poetic way that I think a lot of us don't think about.
No, because we're not a part of it.
Right.
That's why I like the announcers who have been a part of it, the Bradys, the Romos, and the Greg Olsons, Troy Aikman. Yeah, it brings a whole new level of just perspective, because they played the game and they can talk about it in a way that nobody else would ever really think about. I believe in Brady taking a huge step when it comes to commentating, because there were times last year where I was kind of like, all right, I think you're talking a bit too much. Obviously, I want to hear what you have to say,
Right.
but if you're still being analytical and dissecting the previous play by the time the ball is snapped on the next play, it's kind of like, all right, let's just ease up a little bit.
Well, and I think he'll get there.
Yeah.
I think he'll get there. You know what I mean? It's the first season, so I think he's going to get to that point. Well, let's move on to our winner. I have the luxury of doing our winner once again this week. Our biggest winner for me was the Green Bay Packer fans, man.
Obviously.
Packers fans have to be stoked to get Micah. We talked about Micah already, so I won't go too much into this, but I felt like they were our biggest winners this week. And congratulations, Packers fans. Your Super Bowl odds are through the roof right now. So
yeah, well, we talked about the NFC North last week for question of the week, and obviously you're holding high with the Packers going all the way. At the very least, just being a contending team, of course.
Well, and I never said that they were going to win the Super Bowl.
They're getting there.
I just said that they're getting there.
Yeah, but this trade absolutely propels their chances of that, especially in the NFC North. That's a hard division. Good coaches, good rosters, and like we talked about, if the Packers are going to not only win the division but get to the big game, they got to show they can beat their division rivals.
Right.
And this is going to help them immensely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, let's speaking of betting odds on Super Bowl and all these other things, I think it's time for our dual threat bet. All righty, dual threat bet. Last week we pulled a couple out of our prom crown. Obviously there's no games last week, so we decided that we are going to pick a second one for the same game. We had 5 initially, we pulled 2. We've got 3 left in here. Now, if we pick the over/under for the game, if either of us picks that one, then we get to choose whether it's the over or the under, right? And that's,
any other player prop, we already chose the over beforehand, so we have no flexibility with that. So I think we got 2 more player props, and then the total over/under for the game for Seattle and San Francisco. So
what'd you pick last week, Miles?
I got first touchdown of the game coming from George Kittle. You definitely have a better, more likely bet on your hands. Let's remind them what you have.
Yeah, I had JSN plus 59.5. I think that's going to be an easy one. I think it's going to get that really, probably pretty quick. I mean, shoot, he could get that on one play. So
he could.
We'll see what happens. For you, it's going to be tough because I know that there's also CMC gets the first touchdown of the game. If you pull that one, you're guaranteed an L somewhere.
Well, I think the way the game needs to start, 49ers need to get the ball first. Because if Seattle, they could not score a touchdown, but then I'm gonna be shitting my pants if they do get the ball first. Because
but if you get both Niners,
if I get both Niners,
you're guaranteed an L. Because they can't both score the first touchdown.
No, they can't.
Yeah,
but I would rather have odds of going 1-1 than 0-2.
Right.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, Mr. Miles, we have the prom crown. We flip these back over. Sorry, they kind of mix these up a little bit.
Yeah, no cheating, Jared.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. Can't help it. Get too excited about the dual threat bet, and
it is exciting.
I know. All right. No beer mile. No beer mile. No beer mile. All right, what you got? Or should I pull mine first?
Yeah.
All
pull
right.
yours.
I'm excited. Which one do I want?
Well, they came to fruition. I need one of CMC or George Kittle to score the first touchdown.
Oh, you got
game.
the guaranteed L?
I got the guaranteed L.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know what sucks for me, though? Is I have to root for 2 Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, so you got Charbonnet in there, too?
Walker.
Oh, Walker. That's right.
Yeah. I have Walker plus 62.5 yards.
Okay.
Dang it, man. I really wanted the over-under for that game.
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah, just in case anyone's curious, the over/under for that game is 45.5. So if you are looking at DraftKings or anything like that, yeah, you're gonna take the under.
I would have taken the under.
Honestly, I think it's probably gonna be a defensive game.
Well, it's a rivalry game.
Yeah,
Seattle's got a good defense.
Mm-hmm. The Niners have rebuilt a little bit on the defensive side as well, so I'm excited to see how that's gonna go.
Yeah,
I still think, 63 yards. I think Walker can get 63 yards.
Yeah, I think
I'm not worried about those.
Yeah, you're definitely on the rise for a 2-0 start.
We said that when we were talking about the preseason, though, and then I got cooked.
Mm-hmm.
I got cooked preseason's a little more unpredictable, but
it is.
I got cooked, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of got hosed.
Yeah.
You had a good opportunity, but it's still a clean slate. But I was looking to start 2-0 with a nice little first touchdown of the game by George Kittle, but now CMC threw a wrench in that. But that touchdown would still greatly help my fantasy team. Let's do fantasy. You want to cap us off?
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's go for it. So I drafted my fourth and final fantasy team this last week. Actually on Sunday, I was actually hanging out up in Lake Tahoe, and I was very grateful to have service up there. I actually had 5G up at Round Hill Beach in Tahoe.
Very nice.
So yeah, I was pretty stoked about that because I really hate auto drafting. That is probably my least favorite thing to do. But I wanted to talk about one guy that I picked up on a couple of my leagues. He's a rookie, and I don't think that a lot of people are looking at him right now. I wouldn't say he's the bottom of the barrel, but he's not a guy that a lot of people are looking at right now. And if you still haven't drafted your fantasy team, if it's coming up late, or this is a guy that's still sitting on the waivers, maybe take a look at him. It is Mr. Colston Loveland out of Michigan. He's playing for the Bears. And, man, he could be a top 5 tight end, honestly. We've seen rookie tight ends have big seasons over the past few years. I mean, look at Sam Laporta. You look at Brock
Ben
Bowers.
Johnson.
Yeah. You look at Brock Bowers. Ben Johnson, man. He likes to throw to his tight ends. So coming out of college, Colston Loveland had 117 receptions, 1,466 yards, and 11 touchdowns. I think this guy has good hands. He gets good yardage. If you're in a PPR league, we'll see what happens there. But he could be a big red zone target for Caleb Williams, and I'm excited to see what he's doing. So that's a guy to keep your eye out on. If he's on your waivers, if he's late in the draft, I think I pulled him maybe around 10 or 11. So get him late in the draft if you're willing to wait and take a chance on a guy. That's what I did. So
I think that's a good call. I remember during the NFL draft when he got picked, I was kind of laughing because I thought it was a gross overdraft. But I do agree. I think he could cement himself as a top 5 to 7 tight end, especially with Ben Johnson wearing the headset. So he's going to dial some stuff up for him.
Or he's going to end up like Kyle Pitts and
the fantasy darling that never was.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think so either.
Well, in my one and only league, I am not a connoisseur of fantasy like Jared here. I just got the one league. Because of that Micah Parsons trade, the Green Bay Packers defense got swiped up. And because of that, Arizona's defense got dropped by that same guy. So I was holding on to Kansas City's defense, but that Arizona versus New Orleans matchup is just too tasty. I am licking my chops at that. Yeah. I think Arizona, they really facelifted their defensive line. They got some good young corners. If they can just get some pressure on Rattler and shut down Kamara and Olave, I think it's going to be barbecue chicken for that defense. So I made sure to snag those boys as soon as I saw that Green Bay got picked up.
And I don't think that's a bad call. So my sister does what does she call it when you're like you pick a team and you're doing eliminations every single week. You get 3 strikes. What's it called?
Is it the guillotine where if you lose you're out? Because I know about that.
It's like a three strikes and you're out. I'll tell you guys right now what kind of league it is.
But your sister does it.
Survival football. It's called survival football. So every week, it's similar to fantasy. You get a bunch of people together, and every single week you pick a team. And if you picked that team in the past, then you can't choose them again.
Interesting.
And then you get 3 strikes and you're out. So if your team loses, that's a strike.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever makes it the furthest wins, right?
Yeah.
So she does survival football every single season. And every year she hits me up, every single week, and we talk about which teams we think are going to win and lose. And
you give her the insider.
I try to give her a little bit of advice.
Mm-hmm.
And so this week, I told her to pick the Cardinals. And that's not something you're going to hear me do very often. Most of the time, I go out of my way just to spite Miles. Yeah. Because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, you're very nice.
I know. Thank you so much.
But you were very wise for that.
Dude, it has nothing to do with the Cardinals and everything to do with the Saints, I think.
Yeah.
If the Cardinals just stack the box, they're pretty much going to run away with that game. If they stack the box, they run the ball well, and Kyler Murray, I don't know, can see over his offensive line, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to be a very close game. So
no, I don't either. Yeah. The Cardinals, make sure you put some big insoles in Kyler's cleats so you can see over that O-line.
Yep. Well, moving on in our fantasy segment, speaking of seeing over offensive linemen and throwing the guys out deep, I want to talk about some rookie wideouts.
Oh, yeah.
So some rookie wideouts to keep your eyes out for. Miles is going to take our running back segment, so I took our wideouts. Some rookie wide receivers to keep your eyes out for. Emeka Egbuka. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows at this point, if you're doing fantasy, you know who Egbuka is.
Yeah.
He's going around the early middle rounds, usually 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. If he's dropping to 7th, snag him. But I think he's going to have a huge season. He's got Baker in under quarterback. Baker's been one of the best fantasy quarterbacks for the last couple of years. He's put up huge numbers, especially with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. He loves his wide receivers, and Egbuka showed out all preseason. He came out of college looking good. We've talked about him over the last couple of weeks, so keep your eyes out. That guy's going to be a little bit of a sleeper pick. I think he's going lower than what his value is, but obviously we don't know until the season starts.
Right.
Go ahead.
Do you think Chris Godwin coming off of PUP will throw a wrench in that, or
we'll see. Chris Godwin's got some years under his belt, man, and we're gonna have to see how he returns from this injury. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy injury. It was ACL.
Or
was
I think
Achilles?
It was something. Oh, geez, I can't remember.
Dude, this is terrible podcasting. I know.
Let's see. I think it was something with his knee.
Well, either way, I know that it was a tough injury. Are you pulling it up there?
Yeah. Dislocating his ankle.
Oh.
Okay.
See, and who's to say? I do apologize. I want to apologize right now because we just talked about knee and Achilles, and those are the ankle. So
yeah.
But either way, he was out for a really long time. He's still rehabbing, and I love Chris Godwin. I hope that he has a great season. Either way, though, I think Baker's so good at spreading the ball around, and both Evans and Godwin are injury-prone guys. They've been around the league, and when they're healthy, they are top receivers, but you can't count on them to stay healthy. And so if Egbuka can even step into a number 2 role, I think he's going to have a huge season.
I do not disagree with that at all. And he had a good preseason, too.
Mm-hmm.
He was showing those flashes. So, good rookie wide receiver. Do you have anybody else on your
I got a couple more, man. Tetaroa McMillan. That's a guy that's going a little bit higher in drafts. Usually around the seventh round. Some people were taking him really, really high. I saw some people taking him like 3rd. I think that's a little too high for him. If he's hanging around the middle, I'd pick him up. I think he ended up being in my sleeper draft. I think I ended up taking him as my 2nd or 3rd wide receiver. So, kind of banking on him to pan out. Matthew Golden is another one. I've talked about this. I think that Jordan Love is going to elevate this season. The Packers obviously felt like they didn't have a number one wide receiver. They've had some injury issues there, but they've got a pretty, when all those guys are healthy, I think they have a really stacked wide receiver room. The problem is, once again, just like the Bucs, we can't count on them to stay healthy. And so Matthew Golden is another one that if you can get him around the middle rounds, maybe even late. I think I took him late. So, that's another guy to keep your eye out for. I think he could have a big season and he could end up turning out to be the Packers' number one wide receiver in that room. And then lastly, this is my sleeper pick. So I wanna get some more info here. So Mr. Isaac Tesla, man. For the Detroit Lions. Now he's obviously not going to be number one, right? Unless Amon-Ra goes down, unless they have some major injuries here, he's probably not going to be number one. But I think he could be number 3 on that depth chart. And, they also have Sam Laporta, so there might be some battles there for red zone targets and other things. But if injuries come down to it, he could end up being, I think, right there in the middle of the pack, maybe number 2 wide receiver. And late in the season, those aren't things that you can, look away at. So keep your eyes peeled. Late in the season, if you're looking for somebody, keep an eye on his stats, and we'll see what happens. He is currently available in many of my leagues. I think he's only rostered in like 23% of leagues right now. And I don't have any. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have any room on my bench. There's nobody that I would get rid of for him at this point. But again, a sleeper pick. We'll see how he develops. We'll see how the first couple games go. See what injuries look like. But keep your eyes open. Isaac Tesla.
That's another guy that showed some flashes in the preseason too. Yeah, you saw his name come up a couple of times.
And the Lions have said too, he still needs a little bit of work. He's not a perfect product, but he's a rookie. So we're gonna come to expect that.
And what he was he a day 3 pick?
Third round. So he's day 2. Yeah,
late day 2.
Yep.
Okay. That's third round receivers. You don't expect them to come out
right.
They still need to be molded a little bit. So, and he's got good. If you're playing behind Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams, I think you got something to look forward to for sure. Because
and he's going to be battling for that spot. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be easy by any means. But once again, young guys like that, they have a tendency to pop off, and rookie wide receivers tend to fare pretty well in fantasy.
Yeah.
So
and then you mentioned Tedero and McMillan. I'll talk about him later. But for now, we're gonna move on from the wide receivers to the running backs, specifically the handcuff guys. Not exclusive to rookies. I mainly got some year 2 handful of year guys on here. I want to start with Aaron Jones. We talked about this yesterday, Jared. Aaron Jones for the Minnesota Vikings, he is 30 years old, turning 31 at the end of the year. And he just came off a season with over 300 touches. And I've harped on this before, same reason why drafting like Derrick Henry scared me, drafting Josh Jacobs scared me, just older backs that were productive with a lot of touches kind of seems to spell out some disaster in my mind for the next season. So because of that, he's got Jordan Mason behind him.
Right.
And Jordan Mason very well. He was very productive for the Niners.
He could be a number 1 guy.
I agree.
Yeah.
In a system like that, he definitely could. And I was actually kind of shocked that they traded him, but if he was going to have value like that, it makes sense. But yeah, Jordan Mason, he has shown that he can tote the rock. So Aaron Jones goes down. I think Minnesota's got a good running scheme, so I think he can take over that cowbell role and really kind of shine with that offense.
Well, and he's probably the highest picked backup running back
100%
in fantasy leagues. I mean, I'm sure that he's rostered in almost every single fantasy league. I mean, maybe middle to low rounds.
I wanted him.
Yeah.
I wanted him. I was kind of mad when he got sniped. But Yeah, and then going over to the
And even
East
still,
Coast.
sorry, before you move on,
Yeah.
even still, even if Jones stays healthy for the whole season, I think Mason's going to be looking at a lot of goal line touches, man.
That's
Lot of
a
third
1-2
downs.
roll.
So yeah, for
I
sure.
think that they're not. They know Aaron Jones is older.
Right.
Like, why are you just gonna? That's not going to be an 80-20 running back room. I
and
think
they
that's
saw what the
be,
Lions did last season.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. That's a good point. But jumping over to New York, and it does kind of pain me to say this, but we're going to talk about Breece Hall because I have him on my fantasy team. Not the guy that I wanted, but
who did you want?
Well, I wanted, because I took CD first. I wanted to take Bucky Irving in the second round,
right?
And he got stolen from me.
So by me, right?
But what?
Did I steal Bucky from you?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
it was somebody else. But yeah, so I had to settle with Breece Hall, and he's got a year 2 guy behind him, in Braylon Allen, and he's entering year 2. He had over 100 touches last year, and with Breece Hall, I think it's going to get a little dramatic because obviously he's playing this year, but he's entering the final rookie year of his contract. It's not expected that he's going to get an extension before week 1. And it's not even expected that he would get an extension after this year. So if Braylon Allen is going to come in as that second back, Breece Hall gets hurt. He's not being productive. Even people in our fantasy league were thinking Braylon Allen was going to take over the starting job like week 7, 8, 9.
Well, and Jets running backs could be looking at a lot of touches this season. They're working into a new offensive scheme. Typically, new coaches are not going to be throwing the ball a whole lot as they're trying to build their team. They're building their scheme.
Well, and they got Justin Fields back there too. So that's where it's going to be elite is the run game. That's where you have the best shot of churning out yardage.
Well, and we're going to be able to see if Breece Hall can actually handle that kind of workload. So
yeah, I mean, if they can show that they can throw the ball with Justin Fields, it would open up the offense to where Breece Hall maybe could take on that workload. But yeah, if they're not going to be able to throw the ball downfield and they're running the ball, they're going to need that 2-back system. Even the 3-back system, I'm really forgetting what the name of their other running back is, but Braylon Allen is strangleholding that running back 2 position. So I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of took the reins on that.
Well, now here's a counterpoint real quick. We're picking the Jets to be in last place in that division. Well, I have picked. I'm sorry, I don't want to speak for you.
Well, no, I agree.
I've been picking the Jets to be last place in that position, which means that for the most part, they're probably going to be playing from behind a lot, which means that they actually might not be running the ball that much. You know what I mean? Maybe we do see them throwing the ball a lot because they're trying to get caught back up.
Yeah.
So that's something else to think about too.
It is. Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, I think Braylon Allen's good in the taking catches, route tree, stuff like that. So he could fare well with that too if he's going to kind of emerge as some sort of safety blanket for Justin Fields in the situation of they're behind, they're throwing the ball, or just any check down scenario. I think Braylon Allen could still thrive with that too. But I think that's one that is kind of a wait and see situation as opposed to Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason.
Right.
But with all that being said, how are these running backs going to perform? Are they going to take over the starting job? Those might be hot takes, but Jared and I have some legit hot takes.
Alrighty, hot takes. Miles, start us off, baby.
Yeah, so we talked about Teteroa McMillan earlier. I have him in my fantasy league. I took him as my flex. I want to say like round 5. Definitely middle round pickup there. And I'm a bit biased towards this guy because he was a Wildcat, U of A. That's the school I root for. So my hot take is McMillan will win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I have some stat predictions too. Let's double down on this puppy.
Let's hear it, man.
So I was kind of looking over some of the rookie wide receivers last year, just what kind of productivity they were having. I don't know if he will reach the status of a Malik Neighbors, that kind of standard.
Right.
But so I kind of dwindled it down a little bit, but I got him having 95 receptions, 1,120 yards, and 10 tutties. And for the same point that you made with Braylon Allen, which I agree with, the Panthers, I think, are going to be playing from behind a lot. And what does that mean? You're going to throw the ball. And Tet is by far going to be their number one option. So I think Bryce Young, who's going to have a good little bounce back year, kind of build on his finish from last year, will help McMillan kind of reach the top and snag that offensive rookie of the year.
So I think my only question there, I think McMillan is going to have a great season. I really like that guy. My only question though is Bryce Young. You know what I mean? How is Bryce Young going to perform? And so we'll see. If you think he's going to have a bounce back season, I think that's great. I hope it happens for the Panthers. They've been really bad for a long time. And who knows? Maybe McMillan helps Bryce Young elevate to that level.
That's kind of where I was going with that. Yeah. Because I mean, who is Bryce Young's like main target besides? I mean, Adam Thielen just got traded, but was it Deontay Johnson? So like that wide receiver core was not very reliable.
Right.
So I think with a young guy like Tet, they can kind of build a rapport and elevate each other, I think, because like we said, if you're going to be playing from behind, throwing the ball, that's just going to be more opportunities to build that connection and, make me seem like a genius at the end of the year. So, but yeah, that's my hot take that will come to fruition. Jared, what is yours that will be dead wrong?
Well, speaking of genius hot takes, let me just put this one out here. I know I'm going to say this and people are going to laugh me off the stage. But
I'll be leading that.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited for it though. I hit up Miles earlier this week and I said, if you put $100 on this guy to win the MVP this season, you get a $3,000 payout. Because his odds are plus 3,000, and that is Mr. Brock Purdy. So my hot take is that Brock Purdy could be the NFL MVP this season.
Yeah, and we have an interesting little stat that I'll let you read off, but they just traded for MVS, and he has a little history with MVPs.
Yeah, man, the last 5 seasons, MVS's last 5 seasons, he has had either a Super Bowl MVP or regular season MVP as his quarterback. And if history tells us anything, this could be Brock's year. Now let me put a couple other things in perspective for you. Okay. If Brock Purdy comes out this season and he balls out, right? You can't say, oh, well, he had all the weapons. He had this, he had that. Their wide receiver room is in shambles.
Yeah.
Okay. If he comes out and he does that this season, I think there's a very strong chance that he gets that MVP. Now, let me give you a couple other stats. I know there's a lot of Brock Purdy hate out there. But in each of their first 40 games, 40 regular season NFL games, Brock Purdy has better stats than both Drew Brees and Eli Manning.
Yeah, you sent me that.
Yep. He's got more than 1,000 yards. He's got less interceptions. He's got more touchdowns, and he's got a better record. And he's has a better playoff record than both of those guys in their first 40 games.
And that's 40 starts. So what was that? 27-13? Was that the record?
26 and 14.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate the little extra there, though.
Yeah, well, it's
and then
gross to come out of my mouth. But
in his first 40 seasons, Brock Purdy has 9,500 yards, 64 touchdowns, 27 interceptions, and a 104.9 rating with a 26 and 14 record. Let me give you Drew Brees and Eli Manning's quarterback ratings. In his first 40 games, Drew Brees had an 83 quarterback rating, and Eli Manning had a 73 quarterback rating. Now, Brock Purdy has over 1,000 yards more than both of those guys, and he has more than 10 touchdowns more than both of those guys, and
less picks,
10 or more less interceptions.
Yeah.
So, I am not saying that Brock Purdy's the best quarterback in the league. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if he puts together a playoff run team, if they go out and they win that division, I think that there's a real shot, especially with where their wide receiver room is at right now, how they got gutted last season with the salary cap, and the direction that their defense went. I am actually feeling pretty good about our defense, but we got gutted.
Mm-hmm.
We got gutted, and that's just the truth of it. So
it is. Yeah, I mean that. I think a lot of context is gonna play into that season. Like the first thing people are gonna say, because they're not gonna have the weapons excuse. They're gonna go to the schedule excuse.
Oh yeah, I know.
He's dicing up, poverty franchises, fourth place schedule, easiest schedule.
But there's always an excuse. The schedule excuse. He's a system quarterback. Yeah. He's a game manager. All this stuff. But you know what? People said the same thing about Tom Brady.
Well,
and they said that for years.
Well, and the two kind of dualities with that is Brady, 6th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. It's really hard.
And
for
I'm not
people
saying
to
Brock Purdy
facts.
is Tom Brady.
No.
I'm absolutely not saying that.
Because I would walk off the set. But that's kind of the hard thing for fans to swallow, is that seeing it's way more plausible, of course, to see guys drafted in the first, second round perform like that. But when you got a guy drafted late in the round or late in the draft, and he's performing like that, it boggles people's minds. They need to find some sort of explanation as to why that's happening.
And the best quarterback in the league is not always the MVP either.
No.
Matt Ryan also won the MVP, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So and if they win the Super Bowl, he could be the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So those are my that's my hot take for the day.
This is going to open a can of worms here. I really hate the argument that he's only good because of his weapons.
Right.
Don't you want to have a good roster?
Right.
Don't you want to have playmakers around your quarterback? I can't stand that. I'm so sick of this precedent that we set on these quarterbacks of it's sexy to watch a guy like Mahomes or Burrow carry their team and put up gaudy stats.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the Eagles. They just won the Super Bowl. They have a great defensive line. Offensive line is elite. They have playmakers all around Jalen Hurts.
The best running back in the league.
Yeah. And it's like...
Two star wide receivers.
Yeah, so it's like, why are we going to hinder the quarterback for that when it's a team game?
Totally.
I really am sick of all of that. I never really understood it, because it's why I've harped on why I think Kyler gets a bad rap outside of, he's never had a roster like those guys or those teams around him.
Mm-hmm.
And you see he's never going to be a top 5 quarterback to where he can overcome that. So
do you think if he did have, you put Kyler on last season or season before when they made the Super Bowl run?
Which team?
On the Niners roster, do you think
when
their
last Super Bowl
still?
run?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's kind of tough. If you were going to say the Eagles,
that's a tough question.
I would say no, because the Eagles have that tush-push identity that only Jalen Hurts can perfect. I mean, outside of that, I think Eagles specifically, I'm going to say no for the Niners. Could he have done it? Would it have surprised me? No. Right. But that's just kind of a hard, because we don't know. Right. But I do always say that, I think he would have been, if he was drafted to a competent franchise, I think he would have been better.
Right.
Because he was drafted by one of the worst franchises in pro sports.
Right. And we talk about this all the time. When guys start to get hit really early on in their career, they don't have a good offensive line. They start to kind of get shell-shocked, and they don't perform the same way.
Then you get injury prone.
Right. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with their talent and everything to do with the way of being a product of their environment.
Exactly. So. Yeah. So, but I did tell Jared, if he's going to put 100 on that bet, you should make it a parlay with Cardinals winning the Super Bowl, and you could retire early, baby. You're gonna be loaded after that.
You think Brock Purdy's gonna get the MVP, and then the divisional rival is also going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I could see a Niners get the first seed. He's got gaudy stats, everything lining up for him to win MVP,
and then you think the Cardinals are gonna make a big run to the bowl?
Then Cardinals wax their ass in the NFC Championship game, and
Oh man.
What's your profanity?
Am I wrong? Probably. But you couldn't tell me if you made that parlay and it happened, you wouldn't be happy with that payout.
I mean, yeah, I'd be happy with the money. Yeah. Am I going to make that bet? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I might put 100 on Brock Purdy just because.
Why not?
But, yeah, right. Like,
that's too good of a payout.
Yeah. But you know what, guys, we're headed into the end of our podcast here, and it's time for the fourth quarter question of the week. All right, now before we make this call, I want to give a little bit of context.
Yeah, I think you need to.
The callers that we are calling don't know that we are calling them. We had a little bit of a mishap.
Yeah.
With our fourth quarter question of the week callers, and they were not able to make it last minute.
So we pulled an audible.
We did pull an audible. Well, and we kind of talked to one individual who ideally will be on this call. And I think his impression was that we were going to call him on his cell phone. But in fact, we're going to call him and his work partner at their job. So,
so you guys better expect good customer service when they answer this call, or else they're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, Miles is their supervisor.
For calling Collin Athletic Club, Reno's premier.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, not a sponsor.
Collin Club's Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, you're on the 2 Point Perspective with Young Broadcaster and Miles on the mic. How you doing, man?
Good.
Dude, Ryan, thanks for picking up, man. You're a pristine employee for doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're expecting premium customer service here on this call. But we also know that you have a question for us. So Ryan, what's your question of the week?
The question of the week is the Steelers' off-season to their defensive changes big enough to propel them further than last season?
Oh, man. You want that one first, or you want me to take it? Because I already have a thought.
It propelled them further than... I don't know. I mean...
Propelled them further backwards?
Yeah. Well, Jared and I talk about a lot. It would be hilarious to watch Aaron Rodgers give Mike Tomlin his first losing season. But
it would be poetic.
They're too consistently just mid. I don't know if, I mean, you guys get DK, yeah, you get Rodgers, you extend TJ Watt,
but then you trade
and then
Minka.
you get Jonnu Smith back. I don't know, Ryan. I think they're going to be that same consistent Steeler 9-8, 10-7 team that we know and love with a wild card loss.
I'm gonna jump in here and I'm crossing my fingers that they're 8-9, and it has nothing to do with my love or hate for the Steelers. And everything to do with I want Aaron Rodgers to give Mike Tomlin his first losing season. I wouldn't say I like TJ, man, but look at what they just did with Minka.
Yeah.
Like just traded away one of the best safeties in the league. I mean, that's really, really disappointing. I was really bummed to see that. And so I think that that's a big hit to their defense. Yeah, they got a little bit back, and I like Jonnu, but I mean, I would say that honestly, if I'm giving my real prediction, I think it's going to be another 9-8, 10-7 season. I'm right there with you, Miles.
Yeah, Ryan, what say you?
What?
What say you? What do you think?
Well, I think that trading Minka for Jalen Ramsey isn't that bad of a trade because we have DeMonte Casey and Deshaun Elliott. I think Deshaun Elliott, one of those two back there. And Jalen Ramsey is an elite, I think still an elite corner. He's got a few more years. And last year proved to be the weakest position on the defense was that cornerback position, getting burned by those elite receivers.
Okay.
So maybe I might agree with you on that 10-7 wild card loss, but I might have to say maybe a little more hope, considering Aaron Rodgers is probably better than we had like Mason Rudolph.
So let me ask you a question. If Mike Tomlin has another midseason, another 9-8, another 10-7, and they go to the playoffs and they lose once again in the first round, do you think Mike Tomlin's out?
I entertain that because I'd really love to see Pittsburgh Steelers change from a defensive powerhouse to an offensive juggernaut. Maybe get someone like Ben Johnson. But how much of the blame can you put on Mike Tomlin when that front office is, I don't know, maybe not willing to do a lot with all the money they have to get maybe an elite quarterback or unload for an elite quarterback compared to things like that? Because, Mike Tomlin gives what he's given and he does what he does. So you can't always put the blame on the coach.
Yeah, and I don't think that I blame Mike Tomlin necessarily. No. I think that that's just kind of the way of the world, right? Like if they're going to make a shakeup, they're going to shake the whole thing up.
Well, the Steelers have had the privilege of having like 3 coaches in the last since the beginning of time. Like they do not cycle through their head coaches. And if Tomlin's proving that consistency, but he can't get you over the hump ever since that Super Bowl win against the Cardinals, then
Cardinals.
It wouldn't. I think if it's another 9-8 season, though, I think you got to move on.
Yeah. Well, hey Ryan, thank you so much for being on the pod, man. We really appreciate your time. Sorry for bothering you at work, but we appreciate the customer service. I'll give Ryan from Calling Club 5 stars.
Yeah. Go Steelers.
Yeah, right on, man.
All right.
Take care. All right. Well, hey, I want to give a message to anyone from Calling Club who saw this tonight. Please, maybe we don't talk about our little call-in to Ryan too much because we don't want to get that guy in trouble. He was nice enough to pick up and chat with us about the Steelers. So
good guy and good
we appreciate
employee.
his time.
So.
Guys, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comment. If you want to be on the question of the week, reach out to us, slide into the DMs, and we really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have a good one, you guys. See you next week.
All right.